Hey everyone, it's Jenna and today I'll be talking about time management. So most of the things I'm going to be referencing are in college because I'm in college now, but definitely all these tips can be applied to whatever grade you're in, just if you tweak a few things. So basically what I'm going to be talking about first is organization techniques to make sure you're managing your time correctly, making sure you're turning in things on time, and staying on top of your schoolwork. So the first tip that I feel like is common sense is a weekly planner, and I feel like a lot of people do this. Basically, I would suggest as soon as you get your syllabus at the beginning of the semester, putting in all the dates, everything is due in your planner, just because this is really good ahead of time. So you won't have to be doing it every week or anything like that. It's just something that's really quick. You can be as detailed or as vague as you want. Personally, what I do is I just put in the dates that stuff is due and the dates I want it done by. So usually I'll just say if I have a test, I'll say I'll put it the day the test is on, and a week before I'll remind myself to study every day leading up to the test. And if it's like a final, I'll study maybe a week and a half before. If it's a paper, I'll write it once and then do a reminder a week before it's due. But if it's just something simple, I'll put the day that it's due, and the night before I'll say finish it up. So that's all I do for my planner personally. And then something that my school suggested to me when I was having trouble my freshman year was to do a weekly planner. Basically what it is weekdays and weekends. It's a piece of paper and it has the hours of the day on it, and you basically put what activity you're going to be doing each hour on there. You don't have to fill up every hour, but you're just putting what you need to be done on that day in that time slot. And I have a link to that PDF in the description. It's linked to my website that I just put up, so you could download the PDF just so you don't have to make your own, so that will be easier. So what I did with the weekly planner is it helped me pinpoint where my time was going to see if I was managing my time wisely or not, because I felt like there wasn't enough time in the day to get everything done, when in reality there was. I just was wasting a lot of my time. So what you do is you print out the weekly sheet, and then you put the time that you have classes on there, the time that you're going to eat lunch and dinner, and the time you have to get up to get ready for those classes, because those things are basically non-negotiable. And you're also going to be putting what time you're going to go to bed on there, just making sure that you get enough sleep for the day, because if you're tired, you're not going to be managing your time effectively, and you're not going to be performing as well as you would have if you were well rested. You also need to put on there if you have to go to work, what time you're going to be going to work, or if you have any club meetings or anything like that, or volunteer things that you do every certain day. Those need to go on there as well. They also suggested blocking out time to study for each class. So doing like 1 hour for easy classes, 2 hours for difficult classes, and you would have basically an hour or two each week to study for one class. And I did do this at first, but I just felt like it was so unnecessary because I didn't need to be studying every week for a class, especially if I didn't have a test that week. It just seemed unnecessary to me. So what I ended up doing instead is just doing homework blocks. So instead of doing the study block, just doing a time of day each day that I would set aside to do homework. And that would probably take me like 2 hours depending on how busy my schedule is. My school also mentioned that to make sure you do 1 day of rest. So leaving Sunday or whatever day it is that you want to rest off to do no schoolwork, just to relax and just take care of yourself and make sure that you're getting rest and giving yourself a break, because you deserve it after working hard the whole week. They also mentioned doing stuff on Saturday, which I didn't like at first, but I ended up having to do stuff on Saturdays, schoolwork on Saturdays, because I was behind in my work because I wasn't managing my time effectively. And at first I did do that for, I want to say, a few weeks, but usually I won't have to do Saturdays because I'll do my work ahead of time on Friday. So yeah, you don't have to do work on Saturdays if you don't need to, but I would recommend it for at least a little bit just to catch up on your work if you need to, and maybe around finals time or midterms, stuff like that. Also thought I should mention that I don't do the weekly planner anymore. It was just I mean, you can do that, but it felt too constraining because my schedule changes a lot based on what my clubs and organizations are doing that week. So I did that at first, which was helpful, but I think it's just good for a one-time thing. What I do still stick to, and I think that what has really helped me, is doing a semester plan, and that will also be linked in the description below. Basically, it just shows the semester as a whole, and you have to I put in all the dates and everything for you guys. You just have to put in when things are due and when you're having breaks. So what I would do is, in the document, print it out, put all the time that you won't be at school. If there's like fall break, stuff like that, make sure that's on the calendar. And then once I get my syllabus, I also put the dates stuff is due on there, when finals are, everything like that. And I think it's just really motivating, and it also helps you visualize when you're going to be having a busy week and when you're not. So if you're having a really chill week and the next week is hellish, then you can help plan for that previous week. So I think that's something that's really helpful and motivating, because you get to see all the things that you've accomplished as time goes on. You can cross off the week. So if you're already having troubles with managing your time, and that's probably why you're watching this video, the first thing is to pinpoint the problem. And hopefully after doing the weekly schedule, you'll see where the problem is. You can use the weekly planner to do this, or you can just be mindful of how you're spending your time today. How did you spend your time today when you were at school? And what I did is, as an exercise for class, is I wrote down in a journal what activity I did that day and what time it took up. I think that's very enlightening, seeing where you spend your time, what is most important to you, and what needs to change to make sure that you're managing your time effectively. This will help you to pinpoint the problem. Once you know the problem is, you can fix it. So after doing my schedule, my weekly schedule with a counselor, basically an advising counselor, she saw that I had a lot of free time on my hands, like quite a few hours blocked, so I should be able to get everything done. And after doing that, I realized where my time was going, and it was because I was spending a lot of time just hanging out in my dorm with friends and with my roommate, just relaxing and talking and enjoying ourselves, which is all good, but I was spending way too much time. I wasn't going to bed on time, and I would have to get up early for class, so I was tired all the time. I wasn't getting my work done when it needed to be done, so I was very stressed because I was putting myself under time constraints, because all the free time that I should have been using to do my homework, I was with friends. So for me, the problem was not knowing how to say no, saying maybe later when I'm done with my work. Being in charge of myself and setting limits for myself, knowing when I do have time to do something and when I don't, was really helpful. Learning to say no and saying, hey, I'm trying to get my life together. This is the time that I have to go to bed now. If you want to hang out at this time, I am free and I'll have my homework done by then. But other than that, just sticking to a deadline. Just some random tips I had are: spend your time wisely. Don't study more, but study harder. So put away all distractions during your study time and focus on that one thing. If you notice yourself drifting away from the tasks that you have at hand, just bring your attention back. Use tools that you know work for you. Do flashcards work for you? Do making mock tests and quizzes work for you? Do you like to teach someone else? Is that how you learn? Another thing that helped me a lot coming into college was prioritizing. School, we didn't have a lot of homework, so I wasn't used to having to prioritize. I just did everything in one go. Maybe it took me an hour and I was done. So what I ended up doing is prioritizing, knowing that I'm not going to get everything done that's due in that day, but I will get everything done on time. I just have to prioritize. So what is due first, that's whatever's due next is what you should be doing. And if there's something big due soon that's stressing you out, break it out into chunks that are more manageable than looking at the big picture. Like if you're doing an essay, just say, I'll do an outline today, and then tomorrow I'll write the first paragraph, and just building off of that so things are more manageable for you, and you're more likely to do them if they're more in chunks rather than big parts, because they seem less daunting and you'll be more likely to take them on. Another thing that you can use, that I do use during finals week, because that's an extremely stressful week for me, is the Pomodoro technique. And if you don't know about that, I'll link that below. It's basically where you spend 25 minutes doing something, one task, for the straight 25 minutes and then taking around a 5-minute break and then doing it again. And it might work for you. I suggest it because I know a lot of people have success with it, but personally for me, what I like to do is just work until I absolutely can't work anymore, because if I get distracted once, I'll just drift off and never come back. So know what works for you is basically the main tip I have here, and then prioritizing. So I hope that helps you guys be more effective with managing your time, and hopefully you can pinpoint your problem and fix it. Yeah, so that's the video. I really hope this helped. Leave a comment if you have any questions or anything like that. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.